Hello friends, good morning. So let's see what to read in the Hindu newspaper today. So on the very front page we have tragic news of Telangana blast toll rising to 36. Note down the lapses, the regulation part important from the perspective of GS3 as well as GS2, pharma industry related example you can cite here. Particularly another important news is about cabinet not to job links incentive scheme important from the perspective of prelims here. GST revenue collection, note down some data points important from the perspective of GS3, GST. Particularly quad related news is there. Just note down what exactly is the Jaishankar saying important from the perspective of GS2. Criminal law's biggest reform in India, note down the minister's statement. You can utilize it effectively in your answers. On page number 4 we have custodial death related news. Note down again the example. You can cite some examples in your answers, particularly important from the perspective of mains GS2. Responsible tourism destination, important from the perspective of particularly note down the case study. Tourism industry related news is there, important from the perspective of GS2 and GS3. On page 6 we have tribunal quashing the suspension of IPS officer. So what exactly is the central administrative tribunal, what exactly is its mandate, important to know from the perspective of prelims as well as mains. On the editorial page directly now, a triangular dynamic related analysis in South Asia means India, US and Pakistan related tangle is the analysis is there, important from the perspective of mains, particularly GS2. Costly lapses, again the analysis of the recent blast, Telangana blast in particular, important from the perspective of regulation GS3 and pharma related industry related news. Demand distress, note down some data points important from the perspective of economy GS3. Reserved faculty post, note down some data points, facts here, important from the perspective of GS2. Higher education, using tech to empower women and children, important article from the perspective of mains, particularly here. Note down some data points and some schemes related to that. On text context page we have the analysis of India's sports policy, important from the perspective of prelims as well as mains. This particular news here about Google, important from the perspective of work culture GS4 as well as GS3 to GS2 to certain extent. On page 12 again the minister's statement and its analysis, important from the perspective of mains particularly. On page 13 we have a drive on to identify persons with multiple voter IDs. What exactly is CEC saying, important from the perspective of prelims here. Digital India's 10 years, what exactly is Prime Minister saying, important from the perspective of mains particularly as well as prelims. Indo-French Army exercise Shakti, note down the army exercise, important from the perspective of prelims. Navy inducting the indigenous still frigate, important, and INS Tamal related news is there. Both these news are important from the perspective of prelims. Rail 1 app, again important from the perspective of prelims. On business page we have manufacturing rise. Note down data points important from the perspective of mains, particularly MDB lending related analysis news is there as well, important from the perspective of mains particularly.